That was tough.
I knew it.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, what we found
So
out.
we got a live update. Middle of the pod. This just got
flash.
released. Monet, let us know.
Hey, all y'all get y'all money out the bank now.
I just got an email from the New York Times. Breaking news. Biden drops out of presidential race. So I'm going to read the shorter one that he wrote on his Instagram 22 minutes ago. My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorse for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. I fucking knew it.
Well,
As soon as I saw that email, I was like, Kamala's gonna run.
well, she's gonna run, and also, don't be mad at me, but they made it easy for me to not vote again.
No, you need to vote, nigga. Talking about not vote again? Don't get me started.
I know y'all.
You need to vote.
But
you need to vote.
I ain't gonna lie. What's sick?
This. Although I'm joking, for real, I know what's at stake. This may be the year they get me. For real. I do know what's at stake.
What bothers me is after all these years of conversations, education, going through.
Hey, let's not make this about me.
I bet. I bet.
Respect though, for real.
Jesus Christ.
He was there again for me.
That's where it's like, damn, nigga, like.
All right, so I'm being serious though. Is she really the better choice? Still, is she really definitively the better choice?
How you feel about qualified immunity for police? You think they should be immune to whatever they do to you? You think it should be impossible for police to go to jail?
Yes.
Right.
No, I don't.
They know better.
No, I don't.
They know better.
You think
than
the Department of Education should be abolished?
Hell, Department of Education
completely.
That's what they plan on trying to do. I don't know this stuff. Y'all look into this. Don't look at me crazy. I don't know. Sorry.
Like these are the basic points of what.
Now that with the police immunity thing, fuck no. Like we got to get against that. ASAP.
I'm devil's advocate.
ASAP.
I think the police should have all the power.
Nah, I don't feel like that.
I'm about to put you in a corner.
What do I know? I'm not a police officer.
I'm about to put you in a corner.
That's exactly what they want to hear from you.
You want to put me in the corner, Leah? That sounds like policing.
Okay, so damn, I hate to be the pessimist, but y'all know, y'all see what's happening. Like it's like no matter what I do,
say it. No, say it. Say it. I know exactly what you would say. It.
Y'all know the play.
Count. That's not true.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Yes, it was.
I was.
Yes, it was.
Like we all knew. We're all watching you, dog.
Like. Man, I saw it jump out your mouth and you snatched that shit back. Your vote counts.
I try not to be ignorant in these times. If I'm ignorant,
you're not trying hard, dog.
Excuse me. Excuse me. It's fine because y'all know me. I'm not really an ignorant person, so it's fine. I'll take it in this aspect, but I'm just saying, like the play is what it is. Y'all see the writing on the wall. I almost don't even want to talk about it. We see. No, I don't. On. The writing is on the wall. Y'all see
even with the UV light, I don't see nothing.
What are you saying when you say the writing is on the wall?
The writing is on the wall for the other guy to be the president.
Civil war.
Like seriously, like.
But my thing is, in every election, right? Just like in any vote of anything, there's gonna be somebody who's ahead and somebody who's behind. When you say the writing is on the wall, what are you meaning? You're saying that he's winning right now?
The writing is on the wall for him to be put in that chair.
What do you mean by the writing is on the wall? Are you saying he's winning the campaign? What are you saying?
The writing.
Yes, there's always going to be somebody who's ahead and somebody who's behind.
No, but the writing on the wall is pretty much for him to win.
In what way?
He's saying correct. Yeah. I'm like it's preordained that no matter what, he's going to win regardless.
He most like I hate to put it to y'all, but from my observation of friends and people that are Democrats, they already didn't seem confident in this dude as it was, and now with the other candidate being this, Kamala, black woman, salute, but they don't seem confident in her neither. I just want to. I'm already not into politics. Y'all got me talking about it. But let me get somebody educate me to get me behind somebody that I could trust and believe in.
Question. So,
I just don't when I see it.
So you're saying because they're not confident, you believe what?
I don't. I guess I am saying I don't. Since they're not confident, my voting contributes to what other than what y'all gonna say.
So hypothetically, if we were on a basketball team together, right?
Yeah.
And we're seniors, and we're going against... No, two teams are going against each other.
Right.
We're on the same team. Our team is not confident going against the next team.
Yeah.
So should you just not even sub in? Should you just not play?
I'm going to drop fucking 30, nigga. Put me in the game.
I'm asking you.
Well, that's...
Because the logic that you're using, you're saying because they're not confident, your contribution doesn't matter.
All right, so that's wrong to say. I don't feel the need to do to that. That's me. Wrong, and I'll accept that. So I shouldn't have stated it. I shouldn't have stated. I shouldn't have stated it.
How you feel is how you feel.
I shouldn't have stated it the first way, but I stand firm, and it just, again, I see something else that don't make me confident in going to vote, and I don't want to misguide anybody because my
that's
opinion,
the thing. There's nothing wrong with not being confident in something.
My opinion and my choice is my choice. So I hate to even bring that on the platform.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with not being confident. But what we're addressing right now, behind everything, right, is a mechanism. What we're saying is, if this is your reasoning for saying that your participation doesn't matter, does that mean that when you're not confident in life, your participation should not matter?
No. Come on now.
So what makes this different?
More sense than that.
My question is, what makes this
different? The double
different?
standard of it being in an election. Me personally, I'm going for Umar. Hell or high water.
And then I feel like a lot of people forget that it's not just Democrat and Republican.
And
but we
the
all
other
know that
person,
game
and I don't think there's nobody else that's spoken out that's not on any of those.
RFK.
See, like I said, I don't know this stuff, so you educate me. Who's RFK?
Robert
Kennedy.
No, I'm talking about doing this now.
He's
coming up.
He's
one of the sons.
He's like a nephew or something like that?
He's a Kennedy.
Okay, because when you're saying
he's the one with the voice like this.
Okay.
I used to be a smoker.
he's running as an independent candidate, and a lot of the things that he's trying to do is pretty much democratically aligned. Mm-hmm. He just, a little bit more able than Biden, and he's not as far left crazy as Trump.
Can y'all just convince me?
You mean right crazy?
Right, yeah.
Other than that police immunity is definitely enough to probably get me to be interested in not getting him to win, but for me to again, my personal opinion, for me to get behind something just for the other guy not to win, but then I don't trust. I keep saying the same thing of if there's nothing that this person is doing, speaking about, that gets me to trust them, then I don't want to contribute. That's just me. That's how I felt about Biden, because me and Reggie had that talk or whatever about why I should vote, and I specifically said the shit that pissed me off when I actually was thinking about doing it is when I heard that man say what he said, which is you're not black if you don't vote for me. So
now and it's funny because we had the conversation. I don't fuck with shit. Here's the things that kind of make me annoyed to a certain extent, right? Because we had the conversation on the pod about that. What I feel a way about was after we had the conversation and we talked about, okay, well, here's what the different sides represent, right? Because my whole thing is, I'm not telling somebody, oh, just vote Democrat or whatever. I'm saying cast your vote in general. Look into what matters to you, because as adults, that's something that we need to do, whether local or national.
Especially local.
Need to voice, and especially there's a thing about us within our community as far as black people. There's too many of us that are comfortable not participating in the process and then turning around and crying when they shoot the next black person in the head.
Well,
one thing that I just and we talk about, you can stay out of it all you want, but at the end of the day, it's gonna come. But here's my thing: it's gonna come knocking on your door eventually. You may not complain about it, but when you got a kid, that got something that happened to him, and the police got qualified immunity now, it's going to affect you. Eventually, if it don't affect you, it's going to touch your family.
Well, with this, again, if this is absolute, and
wait. What I was getting to was, this was the 2020 election where we had this conversation, and I spoke to you about the Supreme Court nominations. I spoke to you about what was on the line and what could happen, especially when it came to things like Roe v. Wade and all of those things that we were looking at, where I was like, what happens when women's rights start getting stripped away from them? What happens when we start having those conversations? Yes, we are men, but even as men, if you're somebody who has women in your life that you give a fuck about, you do.
Ding, ding, ding. I do.
Yeah, you should look into that, and you should look into, wow, this may not directly affect my life, but if these are people that I claim to care about, I should want them to retain their rights.
I should want,
and we had that conversation, and right afterward, when certain things went down and those things came to pass, for us to go through an entire cycle of you to see what happens and watch everything that I said was gonna happen. And for you to still make that same decision afterwards of, yeah, I didn't vote that time and I'm just gonna not vote again. That's where I start to feel like, well, at that point, what's the point of having the conversation?
You know, you know me. I don't talk politics for these reasons, only because, all due respect to everybody, I know you could call me maybe a part of the problem because I don't vote, but I think I'm still, people are supposed to have a freedom of choice as well. And if my choice is not to vote, but I'm not looking down on anybody who, you go on the red side or you go on the blue side. I'm just here, you know.
But it's not about looking down.
Okay.
Like
My thing is,
or the scrutiny too.
My thing is that Republicans or people that identify themselves as Republicans, and I'm speaking to very general in this. I feel like they are more democratic than people who identify themselves as the Democratic Party. They are the ones that believe in the process of the vote. It doesn't matter.
They take it seriously.
They take it seriously, and it doesn't even matter if the Republican that's running is full of shit. They're gonna be like, I'm still going to go vote, because at the end of the day, I know that I don't want a Democrat in office. And they take the process seriously. At the end of the day, it's your right as an American to be able to vote. And a lot of people, I've heard that as well, people say like, it's my freedom to make the choice to not make a choice. Well, I feel like no, it's fair for sure. I just feel like if you weren't given the choice, I feel like a lot of people that think like that will be like, well, I want to vote. Why can't I vote? Now they want the choice to be able to do something that you have the choice to do, but you don't want to do it.
I always look at it this way. If, and that's a great point, the whole, if they didn't have the ability to, they'd feel away. I think we also got to remember that to get any of the rights that you have today, even that right to turn it down, it took somebody to not be like you to get that done. Like, I always look at it this way. People, if everyone, when those things were not the ability, if everyone were to be apathetic, meaning that I just don't care, I'm just not going to do anything, I'm just going to like not care and just kind of live my day to day, then the rights and the abilities that we have now would have never been gained. And that's such a dangerous position to be in. That's such a, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, especially when it comes to marginalized groups, I think what the dangerous thing is that those who do consistently vote, they know when voting day is, they have the time blocked out to do what they need to do. There's one side that is militant like that, and when you look at their voting returns as far as like year by year, they not only keep most of the people who vote every year, but as people are turning 18, one of the things that they talk about is, well, when I turn 18, I get to cast my vote now. While you have another side, which is crazy enough, normally the side that needs public access, the side that you have family that needs things like, whether it be, you know, affordable housing, bills for as far as like public education, bills for certain things. So you're the side that actually needs these things to happen.
That's why I'm voting for Lex Luthor 2024.
I will say, without giving false hope, though, I'm actually dead serious about this, because I am a for real surviving victim of police brutality. If if that is true, that they're trying to get the immunity out, I am willing to help put up a fight to not get that approved. However I can, you feel me? I hate to be pessimistic. I just don't have much confidence in I don't have that much confidence in my country. I'm sorry, fam.
It's sad because
I'm sorry.
It's that side of the Republican side of it. They bank on that.
Yeah.
because they know a lot of people like you,
The government don't give us
and
much
like everyone else.
trust.
See, that's not the thing. It's like there's a difference between conspiracy theories and then there's a difference between facts. And it gets really blended when you talk about elections because people are like, oh, my vote doesn't count. Look at the Electoral College. And it's like, you just don't understand how it works. It's not that your vote isn't counting. You just don't understand how the process works. And so they use that and they understand that those people aren't going to vote. Look at their options and they're not going to vote for us. And so they have a lot more of like their people on their team to stick together. And they know that this side is going to fall apart. So almost every time it's a easy thing.
I always look at it. I look at it this way,
There's
man.
a lot of people that vote though. I was gonna say that stand strong on they gonna be, and my observation and paying attention to it though, people who are gonna go against whatever the Republicans is on is still a strong set of people.
It's not that big of a, but you
maybe
okay,
I'm
two
sleep-
things.
and maybe I'm
But
sleep-
those people
There's a
exist on
difference
only
between-
one side of the
but
line.
There's two different there's two different views. There's your colloquial view, which is I'm looking around at, let's say, the internet or the people around me or things of that nature, and we're talking about national view. Now, one thing is you are on the East Coast. Second thing is you are in a major city,
I am.
which means you have a view of the country that is not realistic. Think about how many states there are in this country that don't have diversity, that don't have, like, there are things that we see on a regular basis that don't exist. And what I'm saying is you don't have a good view of what the general populace does. But you know what does have a good view? Data. When you look at census data, when you look at voting and poll data, there's a reason why there's so much retention from one party and there's another party that every year it is fighting. Why do you think they have to do so much weird, coon, embarrassing behavior to try to convince black people to vote?
Because
Let's get this rapper to rap. Let's give out free sandwiches. Let's do this. Let's do that. Because every year it's a circus because they got to convince the animals to vote. That's what happens is
Jim Gordon would never. Justice would be brought to Gotham, 2024.
Mute him. Mute him now.
Yeah, you in timeout.
You in timeout, bro.
But don't come back till we tell you.
This is why.
Still my man.
This is why.
your mic is off.
Yeah.
And
No.
this is why.
You feeling lusty off the Smirnoff Ice?
No. Give police full immunity.
No, you like I said
My
again.
goodness.
1,000,000%. Since it's people that actually really want that, I am definitely willing to get down to not let that happen because I am a victim of. I don't even like to call myself a victim, but I experienced that.
Man,
So
I'll say this.
I'm not fooling.
I've shared this before, and we'll close out at this point. When I worked for the Democratic Party, there was a good amount of people that I was working for when it came to like canvassing, voting, and things of that nature. And I was a canvass director, meaning that my job was to hire people to make sure that they went to all the corners of the area, the region that I serviced, and they got people to register to vote, as well as making sure that you kept up with them to make sure that they actually go to vote on voting day. Two things that I noticed. The first thing was that my friend who was a canvassing director for the Republican Party had way less people working for them. That's the first thing that I noticed. The second thing that I noticed is we had two different groups of people. One, we had to have canvassing people to sign up people to vote. The second thing is we had to have people to kind of keep calling and keep making sure that people were able to vote on the day of, even offering rides and things of that nature. The Republican Party barely had to hire people to sign up people to vote because they all went to sign up to vote by themselves. And they didn't have that secondary team of, hey, are you going to vote? Because that's not a thing.
Yeah, and I worked elections, different but same umbrella, and I was dealing with like paperwork side of it, and then above me was the supervisor. But then each party had I forgot the exact term for it, but basically affiliates of each party were able to be there just to make sure like nothing fishy is going on, make it fair, whatever the case may be. So, somebody from the Democrats, somebody from the Republicans, and the Democratic Party got in more trouble because they're basically only allowed to just be there to supervise, to make sure that we're not trying to sway somebody or, you know, to keep things fair. And I would see, the supervisor would see, and the other guy that was representing the Republican Party would see the Democrats would go and be like, hey, you know, make sure you vote. Is everything up to speed? Like, you know, is all your paperwork up to date? Are you registered? Like, and bro would check him all the time. Like, you can't do that. But they're so desperate because they know that we're not voting.
We're not registered.
We don't have the things. And it's like people are, you know, not that educated on the process of what goes on, how to actually vote, how your vote actually does count. Because the thing, do you know the Electoral College, like how that works?
Not well enough. Put it like
so that. I don't know if you've ever like watched as the votes are coming in and stuff like that, and they say like, or if you ever heard like this president is like, oh, I really need Florida, or I really need like a specific state. It's because each state has a different count of how much their vote is worth. So if Florida, which it has been for a very long time, is mostly a red state, well, guess what? That 20-something votes is going to go towards
there's a certain amount of electorates per state.
Right. It's going to go towards that Republican person because watching the elections process and dealing with all the paperwork and stuff like that, stuff gets lost. To count every single vote, oh, this vote is this person, this vote, millions and millions and millions of votes, that gets messy. So that's why that process exists. So it's like your vote does count because at one point in time, Florida was blue. At one point in time, majority of the country was blue. So it's like people stop caring and start feeling like, you know, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to really vote. And then you get shit like Trump and all that.
The nastiest thing
that's real. Oh, my fault. I was just going to say, that's real. I will say from experiencing, at least observing the news as a kid, from what I gained, at least in earlier in life, is they straight up cheat, and this is what made me be cool on voting anyway. As far as when I was paying attention as a kid, what they did with Gore and Bush's election, I still to this day feel like, dude, Gore got straight up cheated in our face. Like I feel like he got cheated in our face out of the votes. I can't remember specifically what went wrong other than some fishy mess with votes missing, and I want to say it was either Florida or Tennessee.
Question: Have you ever seen?
But again, I was a kid.
Have you ever seen a bad ref call sway a basketball game?
Bad ref call?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
You still watch basketball?
Absolutely.
And what do you stand to gain from watching a game of basketball?
It's entertaining.
But that bad ref call swaying the game never stopped you from watching another game, right?
Absolutely not.
I know. I like where you're going. I get it. I get it.
I think like
I'm not even going to refute it. I get it.
Closing this out, the second thing, because all of that I said for the first, that was like the first point. The second point was at the end of the election cycle, there was the guy that I was working directly under. He brought me to a super PAC dinner. Now, this was a place where they had all of these different people representing these different companies that were all kind of talking about, you know, putting their money behind different candidates or different like parts of the parties and things of that nature. So I attended as the dudes plus one. He was kind of like giving me game or whatever, because at that time I was considering working as a government official and things of that nature. So I was like, okay, let me see like what this is like. This is a white dude that I work directly under, and he's somebody who his whole family has been like staunch Republicans for years. He not only was a Democrat, but he was marrying a black woman. And he was talking about how, you know, he kind of separated himself from his family because a lot of their bigoted views, and there were a lot of things that he just didn't represent himself. And he really wanted he was one of those people who really wanted to just help people. And I'll never forget at the end of the night, him feeling like discouraged. And he was talking to me about certain conversations that he had where, because his name carries such weight, like I said, his whole family was a political family. They're like, why are you not within the Republican Party? You would have been already doing X, Y, and Z, da-da-da-da. You know, with the Democrats, they're going to have you canvassing and this and that. He's like, and I kid you not, one of the dudes who was a super PAC lender said, what's the point in scraping for Democrat votes? He's like, do people, and here's what he said, Because the dude was arguing. He was like, you know, these are people that are being oppressed and this and that. He's like, if their lives were really that hard, they'd vote. He's like, they have the right to, they have the ability to. Why do we have to beg you to say what you need? If you really needed that affordable housing, you would have voted. If you really needed X, Y, and Z, he was like, what's the point in sacrificing and working for a group of people that don't have the wherewithal to say what they need for themselves? And that's literally, on the grand scheme of things, what the left looks like as a group of people. We whine, we say that we need these different things, we say that we're part of these marginalized groups and this and that. If y'all were really that marginalized,
you.
This nigga acting like he not black.
Right.
You sounded like Bane, bro. I thought y'all was showing us Bane.
I'm Republican. I'm voting for the problem child. Okay.
But yeah, man, like pretty much that's what it starts to look like eventually after a period of time. And as somebody who, you know, not only working directly under him, but imagine I'm trying to have these conversations with my own friends who are over 18.
On a serious note,
I'm trying to get them to do these things. Having to convince somebody to vote is insane.
You know what's so funny? When I started, I'm be serious for like 5 minutes, and after that, I'm gone. I remember when I started my voting journey, right? As a young 17-year-old kid, and in Caribbean descent, so most Caribbean people are Democrats, or so they think, right? I ain't gonna hold you. I looked at most of the, and you hit the nail right on the head earlier, Monet. When it came to like policies, a lot of people realistically, I feel, deal with like a lot of Republican policies or like share a lot of the same views. They're just misinformed, right? And in that same token, in that same breath, that's how my parents work, because I think for them it was like Democrat. But I can tell you right now, my parents never looked at a policy. It was literally just, okay, my group of people are saying Democrat, and then when I got to that age, when I was 17, turning 18, coincidentally, it was just about that time to vote. I literally went against what my quote unquote upbringing told me, because I didn't get the information. And it's so funny. It's exactly how you said. I didn't get the information or the help or like the knowledge when it came to voting. If I had to pick the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, where I ain't gonna lie, they made their policies easy and accessible. It wasn't hard. Like, you feel me? They even gave you tests to see, okay, figure out your what is it? Your party's affiliation. Democrats, they didn't have that. It was a hard process. That's what I felt like. So that was my little introduction into like politics as like, you know, a constituent living in the land. So
no, that's real. There's certain things that are just so much easier to access and just kind of there for you. But I think part of that is funding, and part of that is the fact that they have so many super PACs that are kind of more so on that angle, because they're like, we are able to serve a group of people that we know for a fact are gonna show up. Like, if we come to y'all, the fact that we had to convince you niggas to vote means that I'm not giving you my money. Like, and that's what it looked like. It's like, whoa.
I don't know. I'll just leave it with this. Even if it was rigged, right? Even if our vote doesn't matter, even if your voice doesn't matter, one, you have the ability, use it. And two, I think of it more of like glass half full than empty. It's like, I would rather have the idea that I was a part of like something changing rather than just sitting back letting something happen.
Nah, that's real.
So I feel like not participating at all, you're just sitting back and letting whatever happens happen. And I don't know, I feel like that's darker.
Yeah. We're off of 2024.
Thank you though, because either way, you know, my ignorance on display gets people educated. That's fine. It's fine. Because I don't mean no malice with the whole politics thing. We talk about it all the time. I'll leave it alone. But this year, more than ever, from the looks of it, it does look like it may be more detrimental for down the years.
For people not to vote.
Not to vote if some of the policies and things that y'all are saying are 100% fact,
Oh, for sure.
that could get really crazy. So
Nah,
I
seriously.
just say everybody look into stuff and get educated. I'm not gonna tell you to do what, but definitely get some information out there.
And if you're not
So,
gonna vote,
no,
my
man.
best advice to you is if you're not gonna vote, start looking for dual citizenship somewhere else.
I do need to
You're
get
gonna
up
have
out
to
of
do
here.
something.
For real.
Because you're not gonna like what you're gonna see.
Man, when I tell you this about to turn into Handmaid's Tale, this is
I think
man.
you
listen,
mean Gotham.
Oh, brother.
but